Hey, so the first thing that I noticed about the play was how the author used different levels of formalness when each character was talking. Obviously, Miss Van Buren, who was like kind of the white socially, talked the most proper. Esther talked a little less proper with a little bit of slang, and then George, he definitely talked the least proper with a lot of like slurred words and mixed words and a lot of slang in his language. So I thought it was cool how she kind of integrated their language with their character types. Um, Two values being represented in the play. One is freedom, especially with Esther and Mame. Esther with trying to open her store, and Mame, who she wants to play the piano instead of being a prostitute. It's really important for both of them to kind of like get out of the rut that they're in, and being so dependent on others. The other value being represented is appearances, especially with the white woman and Mrs. Van Buren, being seen with kind of like the lower class African American women is like bad for their appearances, and everything they do is just like, oh, like I can't do this because I have to keep up my appearances, or I have to do certain things because I have to keep up my appearances. So that's a really kind of important value that they're kind of showing is kind of in a negative light, that it's kind of a false thing that people focus on. Number three, what's something I had to look up? What syncopated means. A syncopated beat is what Mime was playing, and it means like unregular rhythms and beats. And that's really important, like jazz music, which is obviously a big part of black culture. So, and she went on to say that, oh, like my father didn't want me to play that. So it kind of shows that Mame is more into African American culture, and her father kind of wanted to like get out of that and get away. Um, as for stereotypes, I think in the play it both resists and reinforces them, especially with two contradicting characters with Esther and George. Esther obviously resists the stereotypes of, not being able to, or African Americans not being able to like control themselves and always getting in trouble and doing bad things and being a menace to society. She was kind of the best and most moral person in the play, while George obviously took advantage of everyone and kind of ruined himself. And so Esther resists the stereotypes while George reinforces them. Do stereotypes exist today? Obviously, with stereotypes of like thugs and gangs, especially in downtown urban areas, stereotypes exist. Um, Sadly, a lot of times it's people in power push stereotypes, especially like politicians and people who have influence over other people. Um, the only way to like get over that is people have to overcome it themselves, and they have to show that, oh, we are not what the stereotypes say. And then two questions. One, do you think the author leaves the ending on a cliffhanger to give a sense of optimism or sorrow? And do you think that Esther ends up with the owner of the store and then she eventually gets her dream, or is she just stuck in that rut?